Hello and welcome to the final video for this picnic table scene. This video will give a very brief overview of what we have covered in previous tutorials, and will show you how to put our scene together. If you want more than an overview, go back and watch the playlist linked in the description for a complete series on how to make the different objects. Let's get started. In the first tutorial we created a picnic table. We started with a cube, gave it legs, then added a tablecloth by using the knife project tool to cut out the folds. After adding some modifiers, we moved on to shading, where we gave a cloth a checker material. In the next tutorial, we made grass by creating 4 separate curve objects and then putting them onto a plane with a particle system. In the third tutorial, we modeled a cup and then gave it a glass material, which we will also use in the next tutorial. We started by creating a wireframe tree, added a skin modifier, and then mixed our glass material with a diffuse BSDF for the final result. Okay, now we are all caught up. Let's put this scene together. First, delete the default cube, and we are going to append all the different objects we made in the earlier tutorials. If you haven't made them, go back to the playlist and do that. My assets are saved in a different blend file for each tutorial. I'm going to append them one by one. For the first tree, use Ctrl-P to parent the leaves to the trunk. Make sure that the trunk is selected as an active when you do this. Next, move the tree to a new collection and hide the collection for now. Next, I will append the table. If you follow it along, you should have the table with a glass on top of it. Append those objects and parent the cloth to the table and the liquid to the glass. It's also a good idea to rename all of these. And finally, we will append the grass. If you followed the tutorial, you should already have the grass collection set up. Time to set up the background. Start with a plane, scale it up by 10, and apply the scale. Show the grass, and then move the grass plane down below the background plane. In edit mode, extrude the back face by pressing E, Z, and 20. Hide the grass and bevel the connecting edge. I used 15 segments and then shaded it smooth. Next, position the camera in front of the background and mess around with its position. We will fine-tune this later. Time to start laying out the objects. Unhide the table and bring it up to rest on the background. Add some rotation and move the cup off-center. Then parent the cup to the table. Move the table forward and hide it again. Next, the trees. Scale it up roughly to fit the camera. Move it back, select the trees and leaves, and then duplicate the whole thing. The leaves will stay as children of the trunk. Rotate the tree 180 degrees. Then mess around with the rotation and scale for both of them. It is also a good idea to position one in front of the other. Show all elements and make some more camera changes, including changing the focal length to 90. Having some X rotation is also helpful. To move it back locally, press G and double tap Z, and then drag. Hide everything again. Time to work on lighting. Rename the background plane. Then clear the rotation and location of the current light by using Alt-R and Alt-G. Move the light up and change it to an area light and scale it up. This is the same process I used in my video about setting up an abstract scene. If you want more detail, check that out. But the basics are just adding 2 more lights, one on the left side and the other on the front right side, both pointed towards the origin. Unhide the objects and turn on screen space reflections and refraction to make the glass material work properly. Add a purple material to the liquid. Next, take a look at the trees. The leaves are going to need some adjusting, so go into the shading workspace. Turn down the greater than value. This will make more of the leaves glass. I think the lights are reflecting too harshly, so scale up the area lights to create softer reflections. Duplicate the trunk material for the second tree and make a lighter color. Make a blue background material. Next, shade the glass. For this, you will have to unhide the grass blade collection. Select all of them, create a material, and then assign it to all of them using Ctrl-L and selecting material. Name it grass and make it a darker green. Disable the collection again. Let's work on the layout. You can disable the overlays for a better feel of the final result. Also, select the camera, go to Viewport Display, and under Passepartout, turn the opacity up to 1 so that we can only see what's in the camera. These trees need to be smaller, so scale them down. Make a few more camera adjustments and move the table forward, so it's a bigger focus of the scene. Also make the table lighter and the background richer. Great, we're done. I hope that if you have followed along, you learned a lot about creating this kind of style. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. And if you are liking the content, please consider subscribing. See you again soon.